Welcome to the Mark Dolan Show and sunny Las Vegas in Nevada. Busy one today. King Charles is mulling over a move that will absolutely enrage and devastate Harry and Meghan. He's being urged to do it. I've got the inside story. Plus the monarch preparing Catherine and William to be king and queen. More on that shortly, but here we are in Las Vegas, Nevada, which is an incredible place, and we are in front of a flagship branch of Wendy's, okay, the Wendy Burger, which is Prince Harry's favourite burger chain. I'll tell you more about that shortly, but he loves the Wendy Burger. So let me get to this massive story for you. This is King Charles, who's being urged by one of the most experienced royal experts in the world to strip Harry and Meghan's children, Archie and Lily, of their royal titles, HRH. Now, the bottom line is that Harry at the moment is the Duke of Sussex, and his wife, of course, is the Duchess of Sussex. On this show, we call her my husband, H, because she's so rude about her own husband that she won't dignify him with his own name. And the kids have the royal titles, and what's happening at the moment, and it's an incredibly impressive person. Her name is, let me tell you, Sharon Hunt, right? She writes for the Daily Mail Australia. She knows her onions. The Hunt is always on the hunt for truth. And she's not a silly hunt. She's a good hunt. And she has said that King Charles has got to remove Archie and Lily's HRH titles before his reign ends in order to prevent massive emotional carnage between the warring brothers. And Sharon is absolutely right. I've got to say, I do wish that Sharon Hunt, the Hunty, the Huntmeister, is somebody that should be advising the king. If only she was part of the firm. If only she had the ear of King Charles, because it is so important that as Charles battles cancer and, acts out his royal duties and, reaches, the guy's in what, the winter of his life now, it's very important that he gets his affairs in order. And one of the most important things he's got to do is to settle the Harry and Meghan question. And I think the best way that you do that is by the kids. Because you see, Lily and Archie, and we don't call her Lilibet, because that's a stolen name from Queen Elizabeth. It's a rule of the Mark Dolan Show. But Archie and Lily are going to be HRH. They're going to remain HRH. There's a lot of sirens here in Las Vegas. I think that's a paramedic on their way to Caesar's Palace, where someone's just been presented with his bill for how much he lost last night at the crap tables. I'm not a big gambler. I've got to say this place is incredible. It represents the ingenuity of Americans, that you can craft an enormous city-state, a metropolis populated by, I think, 3 million people, cameraman John? Something like that, more or less, in the desert. There's no water here. There's barely any life. There's a couple of cacti, that's it. It is nothing. And yet it's now one of the most economically active places on planet Earth. Well done, America. So Las Vegas is great. I'll be honest with you. Las Vegas for me is it's one of those things where I'm glad it exists, but I don't necessarily want to be there myself, but I'm glad it exists because it's a den of iniquity, isn't it? It's called Sin City because it's so naughty. The reason why the economy grew here is because some of the rules around gambling and all the rest of it were a bit looser in Nevada. So everyone came and did their naughty gambling here, and the rest is history. Anyway, it's an amazing place. But, and of course Harry was here on his own without Meghan, as usual. Harry is always on his own. Why is Harry always on his own? Because it's over. Guys, wake up. Open your eyes. Well, I don't need to tell you, your eyes are open. You guys are awake. That's why we're building a massive community here. You have the seeing eye. That's the great thing. George Orwell, I heard a quote from him this morning, and he said the hardest thing for human beings to do is to see what is in front of their nose. Okay, you see that across the board. You see it with government, you see it in politics, all across the board. People are in denial about reality, and there's no way that that relationship is going to survive. The Mark Dolan Show has placed Harry and Meghan on 24/7 divorce watch, and further evidence of that, it wasn't just, remember yesterday's show when I talked about her flashback photo to 2016, sharing personal photographs on July the 4th, which is supposed to be about America, but Meghan, surprise, surprise, made it about her. Bottom line is that Harry and Meghan, when William becomes king, they're going to try to leverage the royal titles for Archie and Lily. Of course they are. They'll be in there. Because I think that I think Harry is quite scared of Charles. Of course he is. You're always scared of your father. I think you should be scared of your father. I've lost my father now. He's my hero. Seamus Dolan, total hero. But I respected him and I feared him in a good way. He was so loving, he was so caring, he was so gentle, but he had an authority and a power, and therefore in a good sense I feared, and I certainly craved his respect and his approbation. And I think that Harry has that for King Charles, and so he should. So Harry's waiting for King Charles to move on, and Harry's very flippant about King Charles's health. Don't forget, he's on the BBC saying, "Oh, I don't know how long he's got, man. I don't know how long he's got." Can you imagine talking about your father like that? "Oh, I don't know how long he's got, man." I mean, that is just, well, it's criminal, really. It's heartless. But what will happen is that William is going to inherit a major headache if the kids are HRH, because that makes them royals, and that gives Harry and Meghan an in back into the UK post-Charles, and it'll make life hell for William. Now, William will press the nuclear button if he's got to, because as I said before, he's got steel. He's got an absolute ring of steel around him. But I don't think that Charles should put him in that position. Charles has got to prepare the ground for a very harmonious and happy William reign. By the way, just lovely news for Catherine and William, which is they've received a massive upgrade. You remember the victory in Europe, the end of the war celebrations, VE Day. They were very, very front and centre with all the veterans and everything. Well, now King Charles has decided that William and Catherine are going to greet the President of France, Emmanuel Macron, and his wife Brigitte when they arrive in the UK for a state visit. Now, this is a big deal, right? France is our closest neighbour, great economic, diplomatic and military ally. I love France. Bonjour, comment ça va? Il existe beaucoup de gens qui vu le Mark Dolan show chaque jour. Bonjour. Beaucoup de gens en France et aussi au Canada. En Canada? Canada? Cameraman John, apparently you speak good French. What's Canada in French? I think it's Canada. Canada. Who knows? But here's the thing, right? So French Canadian. Québec, Québécois. Je parle un petit peu de Québécois. So Macron and Brigitte, his wife, are coming to the UK, and they will be greeted by the King and Queen in waiting, William and Catherine. Now, when I say King and Queen in waiting, that might sound obnoxious. Don't take my word for it. This is not my position. It's not my narrative. This comes from King Charles, who's getting the couple ready to rule the country. And he's so smart to do that. He's upgrading their roles. I told you the other day that they've got the royal warrant now. So if William, for example, decides, because you know Harry loves the Wendy burger. I should tell you that. Well, this is why we're in front of a flagship Wendy's. And I wanted to film inside, by the way, but they're playing very loud music. And there's a few sketchy characters in there, which I like. I welcome the sketchy characters, but there's, I don't know how much camera equipment would be left if I spent too long at this flagship Wendy's. There were some real mavericks. There were some people living on the edge in this Wendy's. And also the music. So we got an issue where if you record whilst there's music, then you have to pay rights, and it costs £1 million, which is why we don't play any music on the show. All I do is perform it to make it sound exactly like the original. I wanna kiss the bride. Yeah. See, that was exactly the same as Elton John, and we didn't have to pay for it. You're welcome. So they're already being upgraded, William and Catherine. They're going to meet the presidents. By the way, you've got to see my Death Valley adventure at the end of the show, a real treat. Oh, can I also tell you, by the way, you're going to love these truth bombs about the royals, but can I quickly tell you, first of all, that it's around 106 degrees today, which is approximately 41 degrees centigrade. So 106 Fahrenheit, 41 C, which is, it's baking, it's toasty. So I decided to go and get some sunscreen. And have you heard about this idea that some sunscreens, that the popular ones are actually toxic? That they're full of chemicals which are bad for you, they go into your skin and they go into the sea and they kill the wildlife, they kill the fishes and the coral reef. Apparently during the global health crisis a few years ago, Australia's reef completely recovered because there was no one in the water swimming with the sun cream coming off. Anyway, it seems that traditional sun cream could be quite toxic. I don't know. Consult your doctor. This is not medical advice. I'm not a doctor. I should have been a doctor. I think I've got the manner of a doctor. Don't you think? Hello, madam. Tell me what your symptoms are. Would you care to unbutton your blouse? No, well, you've got to examine, haven't you, the patient. So, but the bottom line is that My mother would love me to have been a doctor. She still dreams of me getting a proper job. You're welcome. But so if you need advice on skincare and the sun, please consult your doctor, not me. But I decided to be healthy, and I got some of that natural mineral sunscreen. I got this stuff, which is called CeraVe. Okay, hydrating mineral sunscreen, 50 SPF, right? That's very high. It's as high as it gets. Complete disaster. Look at my hands. Can you see that, cameraman John? Right, and I had, and my legs, well, now that that's moving, do you have a look at my legs? That's freakish. I look like I have a condition. I look like I've got advanced psoriasis or something, don't I? And my face earlier, I had this stuff on my face and I looked like Count Dracula. I looked like a cadaver. It was a disaster. So I'm going to tell you, the Mark Dolan show is currently looking at sponsors, okay? But I'm only going to have sponsors whose products I believe in, okay? I won't be peddling any rubbish in your direction. And I'm just going to officially declare, by the way, big royal truth bombs coming. Don't go anywhere. Plus, my Death Valley road trip. Did I survive? But can I just say now, this is a Mark Dolan show decision. The CeraVe are banned from sponsoring the show. They could offer me thousands of dollars, and it's a no. Right, hundreds. If it was hundreds, I mean, we can 100k, 200. Let's talk. Mrs. Dolan has expensive taste. No, CeraVe are banned because it's a ridiculous product. It may well work as a sunscreen, but it makes you look like Count Dracula. Look at my hands. Complete disaster. I'll tell you one great brand though. I'll tell you an excellent brand, 7-Eleven. I was there this morning. By the way, there is no 7-Eleven in America that's open from 7 till 11. It's a shocking misnomer. This one's open from 8 till 4. What they really made a mistake there with that branding. But anyway, it's a good shop with people that work there who look like they're powered not just by a healthy diet, but probably illegal narcotics, I would say. The man that did the transaction for my morning filter coffee was higher than John Lennon in 1969. Let me tell you, I wanted to pay for my coffee and I had to literally peel him off the ceiling. He's like, that's $3.99. $3.99. And I was like, do you know what? Jay Leno on his motorbike. Yeah, Jay Leno. I remember I bought my coffee from him this morning and I'm like, listen, I don't need the coffee. Give me some of what you had. Right, we need to get to this. I'll tell you about Harry and Wendy's in just a moment. So what Sharon Hunt told the Daily Mail Australia is absolutely right. Is that actually in Scandinavia, it was decided by the monarch that the next generation's children would lose HRH in order to not create conflict for future generations. And I think that's what Charles has got to do for due diligence. So let's have a look at what is happening. Denmark, right? In January 2023, Queen Margrethe II stripped HRH titles from Prince Joachim's children, Count Nikolai, Count Felix, Count Henrik, and Countess Athena. The children were no longer styled as Prince or Princess or His or Her Highness. They remained in line of succession, but no HRH. And what that did is that created clarity for the next generation of royals. That's what we need from King Charles now, is he's got to strip those kids that are titles. Strip them and strip them now. Strip them, baby. I don't think I should shout strip them loudly in Las Vegas because it could be misconstrued. There could be models would turn up suddenly in the buff because this place it's immoral. Can I just tell you, I was raised a Roman Catholic and I'm a man of faith and a spiritual endeavor. And I was shocked by some of the scenes I saw in Las Vegas last night. Yes, I participated in some of it and I paid a lot of money in cash to some very bad people, but that's because I was embedded and I needed to experience but all I can tell you is I feel a sense of shame for what happened last night, and I may well go and see my physician and get some antibiotics. It's another story. So isn't that a smart thing from Sharon Hunt, who's a royal expert? She said, like Queen Margrethe did at the end of her reign, King Charles has the power to cut HRH. King Charles has the chance to cut the HRH cord from Prince Harry's children once and for all, confirming that their future lies beyond the royal family. She is so right. How brilliant is Sharon Hunt, the Huntmeister, Hunty McHuntface? She said such a decision will likely cause backlash and upset from Harry and Meghan. Here's hoping. We done 15 minutes. Oh my, where does the time go? Sharon is absolutely right. She said such a decision will likely cause a backlash and upset from Harry and Meghan. Hello, America! Can I say America? I think it's the most friendly country in the world. Give us a wave. Okay, they've gone. I think he's a drunk driver, by the way. That's a DUI waiting to happen. That wasn't Gatorade he was drinking. He was worse than the 7-Eleven guy this morning. That's $4.99. Forget the coffee. Can I just have a small amount of what you had, please? She's so right. She said that if Charles strips Lily and Archie of the titles, it could essentially de-escalate the situation whereby the Sussexes of Montecito are out of the royal picture altogether. That line of succession would remain because that's the British Constitution, but they'd lose the HRH optics. The kids could have normal lives, and there's even a chance that William and Harry could therefore become friends, with Harry saying, listen man, I got no skin in the game. But the truth is that Harry has got so much skin in the game. Folks, don't tell me that Harry's left the royal family and given up his royal duties. Don't tell me that, right? This is a divorce in name only. D-I-V-O-R-C-E, become final today. Harry hasn't left anything, right? He pines for Britain. We mentioned that in yesterday's show, that he's completely homesick and he's having a miserable time in America. I'm having the best time in America. For Harry, it doesn't work. So, but he hasn't, he is totally attached to the royal family still. And he, don't forget, when applying for passports for the kids, insisted that they remain HRH and Sussex on the passport. What does that tell you? He sees those kids as a way back in to the royal front line. Charles could fix this. So please, Charles, do it, and do it now. Listen to the Huntmeister. Shironsky, she gets it. If only King Charles did as well. Now, I'm going to get to a couple of other bits and pieces before we move on. William and Catherine have been upgraded. They will greet Emmanuel Macron of France, the president, and Brigitte, his wife. And that's a big deal. Can I tell you something interesting about Emmanuel Macron, who is the president of France, who, I don't mind him actually. He tried to reform the French economy and it didn't work. He tried to do good things that I agree with. Okay, shrink the state a little bit, make welfare a little more sustainable, and the pensions, because France, I've got to tell you, is in worse shape than a lot of the people that went into Las Vegas last night with the gambling. Okay, France is so broke. So he's tried to fix France and make it fit for the future and sustainable, because it's one of the great civilizations of history. I love France. La belle France, comment ça va? Anyway, but the point is the French people are ungovernable. And I love, I've got so many French viewers. Bonjour, comment ça va? Je vais au cinéma avec mes amis et je nage de temps en temps avec ma mère. Right, but the truth is, right, oh my God, no wonder that car's full of scratches. And you see these terrible drivers and you look at the car, it's all bashed up. It tells you everything. So we've got to get this out. We're wrapping this up, folks, but I've got some big stuff for you, including the Death Valley road trip. I've got to tell you, I'm going to some honesty about the TV show. We haven't filmed Death Valley yet. So the highlights you're going to see in a minute, I haven't done them yet, because we're in Vegas and we're on our way to Yosemite National Park. Yosemite! And so I don't know what's going to happen. So the highlights you're about to see, it could be anything. I could be frazzled. I'm burning to a crisp now because I had to take off the horrific sun cream from this guy's CeraVe. They're banned. Okay, they're banned from this. You are banned. Maybe for 100,000 we'll do it, but anything less, you're maybe 80, 85. Otherwise, I'm out. Let me tell you about Macron briefly. There is, and you'll love this, it's very fascinating. Let me get it absolutely right. He and his wife, Emmanuel and Brigitte, 24-year age gap. 24 years. That's a lot, isn't it? And I say, well done, Emmanuel Macron, right? That tells me he's a great man. It tells me he's a real man. Because you get these guys like Leonardo DiCaprio. Do you know him? Did you know that I don't think he's ever dated anyone younger than 27. What he does is he goes to kindergartens and just patiently waits for them to reach a legal age, and then bang, you know, he pounces. I'm really, really shocked at that, and it tells me that Leonardo DiCaprio is very shallow. You know, if all your girlfriends have a mean average age of like 22 and DiCaprio's in his 50s, it's not a good look. I don't think so at all, okay? I mean, it's a free country. I'm not going to dictate how people live their lives, but I'm still allowed to judge, aren't I? And I look at Emmanuel Macron, he's gone the other way. He's gone with Brigitte, who's older. She's absolutely stunning. And she's 24 years older than him. So he was born in 1977. Brigitte was born in 53. I mean, this, do you know what I mean? She lived the Second World War. She was like fully cognizant adult when Hitler was raging across Europe. And old Emmanuel Macron was just a twinkle in his mother's eye. They met at the Lycée de la Providence High School in Amiens in France. Basically, this is a bit wild. Emmanuel Macron was 15, right? Brigitte, his wife, was his drama teacher. Yikes! But you know what? What 15-year-old young man isn't going to have his head turned by, and I'm just going to be rude and obnoxious for a second, but a hot drama teacher? Is there anything better than a hot drama? Emmanuel Macron's wife, Brigitte, she was probably hotter than the tarmac in front of this Wendy burger. So good luck to him. He was 15, he was a man. Can I tell you, okay, I do respect the law. 15-year-old boys must wait until they're 16 before any hanky-panky. I get that. But I mean, in France, a 15-year-old it's a different, a British 15-year-old like myself, you know, I'm still waiting for puberty, do you know what I mean? But the French, they're men by 11, the French, aren't they? They got the facial hair and the muscle mass, and the décolletage is fully developed. So, but anyway, yes, so she was his drama teacher, and apparently Emmanuel Macron's parents were deeply concerned about the relationship. They sent him to Paris to finish his schooling, hoping to separate them. Emmanuel told Brigitte at the age of 17, "Whatever you do, I will marry you." Brigitte divorced her own husband. By the way, you won't believe this, she's like, you know, flirting with this young student. She's got 3 kids, 3 adult children from her first marriage. She divorces the rather furious husband, marries Emmanuel Macron. The rest is history. It's a lovely thing. I wish them good luck, and I wish them every happiness. Right. So listen, let me now get to, we've got Death Valley's coming. I don't know what's going to happen. It might be, I mean, I don't want to be mawkish about it, but who knows what peril I'm about to face. I haven't done it yet. So you're going to see it, and we're both going to find out what happens. Death Valley is called that because you often don't survive it. People over the years haven't survived it. You don't run out of gas, you don't run out of water, you don't run out of food. We've got major supplies. It's going to be a thing. Will the Ford Mustang survive? Because it's a soft top. How burnt will we be when we get there? How burnt will I be now, given the fact that I've had to take this ridiculous sunscreen off in order to present to you, not looking like Count Dracula. So that's coming. My main point is, Charles, please strip Archie and Lily of those HRH titles, and you'll be saving William a major headache. They deserve that. Before we go, the Wendy burger. So basically, Prince Harry and Meghan. Meghan's lazy, and we know she can't cook. We saw the July the 4th meal that she made, right? Her great cuisine, which was putting fruit on a plate. And she left the sprouty green bit on the strawberry. I mean, would you eat the sprouty green bit? I'm the sprout out. Sprout out. No sprouty. Not for me. You know, the kind of weird planty green bit on top of the strawberry, she left that in. I mean, how obnoxious. It's today's word, isn't it? Obnoxious. I'll look it up. I might find out what it means eventually. So here's the thing, right? So she's lazy. She doesn't cook. We know that. She thinks that putting fruit on a plate is cuisine. It's not. And so it turns out she gets takeout. And the Mark Dolan show understands. We broke this story exclusively that his favourite burger chain is the Wendy burger. He loves Wendy's. I think it's because of the Wendy herself. Because Harry and she are both ginger, aren't they, with the freckles and everything. So there's a kind of genetic line there, at least that runs in parallel. They could be related. I mean, let's be honest, Wendy is US royalty, isn't she? There's, I mean, who are the US royalty? Ronald McDonald is US royalty. I'd love to meet him at some point. We've got a bid in for Ronald McDonald. And he's actually not the only orange-faced man running America at the moment, is he? You've also got, Wendy's definitely an American icon. There are others. But let's get to this. So basically he loves the Wendy burgers because, you know, his life is not, he's the world's least happy millionaire. Hom-be-dom-be-dom-be-dom. Poor Prince Harry, world's least happy millionaire. And lovely Meghan, thank you so much for my Wendy burger. I love the Wendy burger. And my Baconator, which is one of the finest sandwiches available to any American that's hungry. Hom-be-dom-be-dom-be-dom. In fact, just before we go, I've said, because what I am, folks, is I'm constructive. I like to fix things, not break them. And my fix for Harry and his family is for him to apologise to King Charles and his brother and to offer to divorce Meghan Markle as the kind of peace offering, the olive branch, right? It's what he's got to do. And when he does that, which he will, because they're on 24/7 divorce watch, although Meghan will dump him, because that's what she does, she dumps people. And what will happen is that he will be in Britain and he'll love it. The only thing he'll miss is the Wendy burger with the secret special sauce, the excellent toppings, those fine patties, the Baconator, and the rather maverick, socially challenged characters that frequent your average branch of the Wendy's, of the Wendy burger. Folks, it's been great to talk. We are on the road. We're off to Yosemite. I don't know what the 5G network is like around there, so I'm hoping there'll be a video tomorrow. But what you got to do, please like and subscribe if you can, and hit the notification reminder bell. And then if I'm able to get a video out, then it will drop. We are aiming for, we can't promise, but we're aiming for midday on the West Coast, 3 p.m. on the East Coast, and 8 p.m. in the UK, early morning down under. I can't guarantee it. Timings are subject to change, which is why you've got to hit that notification bell. Here is my Death Valley adventure. Humpy dumpy dumpy dum, Wendy burger. Thank you, my love. Hump, 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 hump. Okay, so the trip into Death Valley starts here, and the number one golden rule is that you fill up with petrol. So the tank is half full. You don't go into Death Valley without 100% fuel coverage, because if the car runs out of gas, you're in the middle of nowhere. It's called Death Valley for a reason. You're going to get dehydrated, you're going to get horribly sunburned, and you can't cool the car, because if you can't start the car, you cannot switch on the air conditioning. So I'm filling this baby up. I will say it's quite frugal. I mean, it's a Ford Mustang, but it's the latest, and it proves that these petrol engines are getting increasingly clean. And it's a pleasure to drive. It's quite fast, but it's frugal, which is a great thing. What I will say, just as we're almost full now, costs maybe $60 or $70 to completely fill the thing up. Also bought a lot of water. I'm a big fan of the seltzer water. Do you know about the seltzer water? This is what the Americans call it. The really, really fizzy water, heavily carbonated. I don't know if it's an East Coast New York thing, because they have a lot of seltzer in New York. But actually, you've got it across America. Very cold. Actually, let me show you the seltzer that we have, which I'm a huge fan of. And it's basically this one here. Oh boy, oh man alive. So many things. Problem is, I don't really understand this car. Here we go, let's have a look. And I got an 8-pack of these, because you've got to be hydrated. Black Cherry Premium Seltzer, naturally calorie-free. It's a great product. What I like about it. And by the way, they're welcome to sponsor the product, because the makers of that terrible sunscreen that made me as white as Count Dracula, these guys, they are banned from sponsoring the show. CeraVe, right? It doesn't matter how much, I mean, 90k we would take, but they're banned. But not Polar Premium Seltzer. What's so nice about those seltzers, they're very sparkling, and when you drink them and they're cold, it like cuts the back of your throat. That's how acidic and gassy they are, and when you're thirsty, it's the best feeling in the world. Right, so let's have a look at the environment, because we've just come out of Las Vegas, and can you believe that there is this much wild, unadulterated nature minutes from Las Vegas and Sin City, right? Las Vegas, the very epicenter of human indulgence, of gambling, of alcohol, of drug abuse. Obviously, everyone was high last night, except me, because my body's a temple. It's just basically debauchery, isn't it? Las Vegas. And of course, you know, human intervention, hotels, all of that stuff. But minutes away is this. It's just, it feels like, it looks like the backdrop of a spaghetti western, Clint Eastwood, John Wayne, that kind of thing. It's arid, it's massive, these big landscapes. We're not even in Death Valley yet. This is just the warm-up, this is the prelude. But isn't it stunning? And the light is so good. I mean, there isn't a cloud in the sky. That's what I like about the climate of Nevada. It is desert-like. So actually, even though it's now well into, you know, the sort of 100, 110 territory, temperature-wise, it's such a dry heat. It's quite comfortable. I mean, I'm wearing a long-sleeved t-shirt because it's okay. So here we are, big landscapes. We've got the seltzer water. We've got the petrol. We are fully loaded and we are ready to go. Let's take it down to Death Valley. There's a theme of this US road trip, and it's the fact that everywhere we've been in America lives up to expectations and goes beyond them. When you go to New York, you walk around, you feel like you're in a movie. It's like the movies. And when you go to rural America, it's the same thing. You know, this is a Coen Brothers movie. This is a spaghetti western. There isn't a car in sight. It is baking. My head is actually simmering and boiling and sizzling. That's how hot it is. And I mean, just we touch the ground, almost like burn your hand on the tarmac. And no cars. I mean, this road is long and straight, and I could lie down and maybe take a nap and wake up and not have seen a human being or a vehicle or even a wild animal. It's just sublime. It's a movie set. It's more than just a western, like, I don't know, Yellowstone or something like that, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. It goes beyond that and the Coen Brothers. It's almost sci-fi. This is like a kind of George Lucas backdrop. Do you know what I mean? It's like The Mandalorian or Star Wars or something. It's beyond real. It's metaphysical, whatever that means. I'll look it up, but it's metaphysical. And that is one of those classic American roads. Look at it. It just goes straight for mile after mile after mile. You can just see into the distance and there's nothing. Just a road. Right, a solid single piece of infrastructure cut into the middle of the landscape and nothing else. And probably the best thing about it, notwithstanding the blue sky, the piercing sun, the burning tarmac, is the silence. Who knew that you could be a couple of hours out of Las Vegas and its population of 3 million people, and the slot machines and the bars and the restaurants and the ladies of the night and the cops and the enormous supermarkets and malls, and just a matter of 150 miles from that you've got this, a kind of Hollywood movie set, which is just surreal and beautiful and magical. And these are the moments that one can never forget. It's truly, I've watched so many shows like The Grand Tour and Top Gear when Clarkson, Hammond and May go to places like this and they say, "Oh, where's Jeremy? He's broken down. We're not waiting for him." And I cannot believe that thanks to you watching the Mark Dolan show that I get the privilege of experiencing that kind of road trip myself. And I hope you feel that you're on this trip with me. And I hope I can convey to you just how special this moment is, how extraordinary, how otherworldly this environment is. I feel like I'm in Mars or on the moon or somewhere else, but I've taken the car with me, which is a Ford Mustang. And it really doesn't get better than this. Go on, cameraman John, do your worst. So, We made it. We are in the heart of Death Valley National Park. First of all, just take a look at this wonderful arid environment. There you go. You've got rolling hills, mountains, an empty road, as straight as a stick of spaghetti, and just in time for sunset. There are no words. Death Valley, and I've never felt more alive. See you for the next video.